Hello, my fellow singers from the Women Choir of the Elm. My name is Loud McQuire, and I've been asked to tell you a wee bit of the song Auld Lang Syne, 'cause it's a jolly good drinking song, and ye can never know too much about drinking songs, for if ye do not ken the meaning of the words, how could you then properly sing the cheer? In this case, everything starts with Rabbie Burns. And there are exactly three things you need to know about Burns. He's Scottish, he was a Freemasoner, and he sort of wrote Auld Lang Syne. The sort of thing comes from that he said he didn't write it, but only took it up from an old man, which is how you usually get your swords in old video games. And then he gave a copy to the Scots Musical Museum Project in 1788. But no one ever found more than the refrain, and something vaguely similar to the first verse, outside of Rabbie's copy. So most just assume that Burns wrote the rest himself and that the old man didn't have much influence to it. The original melody was neither of Burns's making nor the one we sing today, but an old traditional melody that Rabbie himself said was mediocre. So after his death, George Thomson switched the melody for one known as the Miller's Wedding, although it's more known as Auld Lang Syne today. Actually, no one knows it as the Miller's Wedding any longer. Poor Miller sod. Now, the song is mostly a drinking song, remembering the old good times over a good pint. But it is also a parting song, and here Burns' Freemasoner background comes in play. The Freemasoners had some fingers in the stew in the publishing and spreading of poor Burns' poetry, and also had some weird parting rituals. One of them was standing in a circle holding hands, which has then followed the song into its use at the Scot Hogmanay. And ye always celebrate Hogmanay, right? So, when you sing at the last verse, and here's a trusty hand, my fiere, everybody should stand in circle and join hands, but in the wrong direction. Now, you cross your arms in front of you there, okay? And grab the left hand of the person to your left with your right hand, as well as the right hand of the person standing to your right with your left hand. Yeah, it's stony, they were masoners. Then, at the end of the song, everybody goes to the center of the circle and tangle out their arms so that everyone is now facing the outside of the circle. Now, if you do not celebrate Hogmanay, you may as well do this at your ordinary New Year's Eve. Hogmanay is simply a Scottish version of the New Year's party. But our version is better because it's longer. So you get to sing more. And drink more, which usually leads to even more singing. Cheers! So, on singing, let's talk lyrics. As said before, it's a song of the good old times. Auld Lang Syne can be quite straight translated to old long since, or less per word, times long gone, or the good old times. One may wonder when those good old times were. Mr. Burns were only 28 when he wrote the poem, but it's most likely he would refer to somewhere in the 1760s or 70s. As a poet, the good old days probably coincide with the first publishing of Encyclopaedia Britannica in Edinburgh. Anyway, ma jo is a Scots saying meaning my joy, someone you care a lot about. And tak means take. So, my dear friend, let's drink a cup for kindness and for long gone times. And those are some good things to drink for. Cheers. On to the verses. You already know about old being old, but should probably not be read as should, but as if. What if we forget about old friendships and the good old times? Yes, that would be awful. In the second verse, we get to the really important stuff. The beer. Now, nobody becomes the beer. Rather than to be your pint, you buy your pint, and I buy mine. A stoup, then, is what you have your beer in, a glass or a mug. So a pint-stoup of ale is a mug containing 1 pint of ale, or about a half Swedish litre. In the next 2 verses, we get into some serious Scottish alfresco existence. Twa meaning 2, and hay is to have. So we too have run about the braes, which is the brow or the slopes of the hills. And pou'd the gowans fine. Pou'd is picked, so pick the fine flowers. Gowans is a bit complicated. Some simply translate it to daisies, but it is often used for quite a number of wildflowers, though usually white or yellow ones. And then the next sentence is just as it sounds. We have wandered, making many feet weary. A burn is a river or a stream, though the term isn't unique to Scotland. They use it in northeastern England too. And on New Zealand? Well, the two of us have paddled in the river from the morning till the end of the day. Dine refers to the time you eat dinner. So, well, we two paddled for a while. But then braid is the same as broad. So broad seas have roared between us since the good old times. And then we come to the handy part. A fiere is a true friend. So there you have my hand, my trustful friend. And G's is an abbreviation of give us, so give me your hand too, and we will have a gude-willie waught. A waught is the same as a draught, a drink or a serving. And gude-willie is the same as goodwill, so we will join in a goodwill drink for old time's sake. So, now you ken a wee bit about Auld Lang Syne. So sing it well, and don't forget about old friends. Cheers!